The FIA have had another shocker to say the least. Now I'm going to try not to get into mistakes they've made throughout the whole season and just focus on what happened in Qatar. So where do we start? Well, they handed out the first ever one-place grid penalty. Max Verstappen secured pole after a massive change from the sprint where he struggled to pass the Haas of Nico Hülkenberg. George Russell would get second, but on the cooldown lap he was going faster than Verstappen, which caused George to slow down and take a somewhat of avoiding action. This obviously got referred to the stewards. A few hours later it was announced Max Verstappen had received a one-place grid penalty, dropping him from pole to second. The report of the penalty stated, unusually the incident occurred when neither car was on a push lap. Had car 63 been on a push lap, the penalty would have most likely been the usual free grid position penalty. However, the mitigation of the penalty, it was obvious that the driver of car 63 had clear visibility of car 1 and that neither car was on a push lap. I don't know what that sounds like to you, but it just sounds like they gave Verstappen a penalty for the sake of it. But moving on, nothing major, he's still on the front row, nothing will brew between these two drivers, so it's all good. That's a topic for another day. On to the race itself then, and it started good for the FIA. Safety cars were called correctly, you know, the basics. But on lap 30, the whole lot would come crashing down. The Williams of Alex Albon would lose its wing mirror down the straight, going onto part of the track where it could get collected if cars went side by side. But laps would go past and only the yellow flag would come out. No VSE, no safety car, nothing to remove the debris. Until the inevitable happened, and the mirror would be collected by the Bottas Sauber, which obviously made it worse and scattered more debris onto the track. Again, still only a yellow flag. Hamilton would pick up a puncture while in 7th, seeing him drop to 16th and a lap down. Also, the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz would get a puncture which was crucial for the Constructors' Championship. As Sainz dropped down the order, McLaren would start to see the Constructors' Trophy float into their hands. Finally, the safety car would come out on lap 37. Under the safety car, the stewards put Norris under investigation for not slowing under yellows. While watching the replay, it looks like the yellow light came on as he was flying past, making it difficult to see from the cockpit. Also, the light after would turn green. Even on the live graphic, it would confuse viewers as it would go yellow for a second, then green, then back to yellow, and so on. Lando's dash wouldn't even say there was a yellow flag waving, only a blue flag for Bottas. I was expecting the normal 5-second penalty, but the FIA decided they wanted the constructors to be spiced up that little bit more, and gave the McLaren driver a 10-second stop go, pretty much a 35-second penalty. So Lando would have to come back from 16th to get some points to maximise McLaren's points, as they would now lose points to Ferrari. Lewis Hamilton would next get a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane under safety car. Lewis did the same thing in Miami and received a 20-second penalty, so it pretty much added another 15 seconds onto the penalty for the same thing he did back in May, but overall I'd say there's not a massive amount to go into on that. George Russell would then receive a 5-second penalty for a safety car infringement, due to him being more than 10 car lengths behind the car ahead. The evidence clearly showed that car 63 was more than 125 metres, which is more than 10 car lengths, behind the car in front during the safety car period. Luckily for George, it would not demote him a position. McLaren's Oscar Piastri said the right thing to do would have been a virtual safety car or a safety car pretty much straight away. Verstappen didn't know it was a mirror on the track which caused the yellow flag, and most drivers said it wasn't bad until it got smashed to pieces. The fact the FIA got caught out by a wing mirror, when everyone at home can easily call what to have done in that situation, just shows the lack of structure and harshness of the Norris and arguably Hamilton penalties are just odd. A wing mirror broke and exposed the FIA. A wing mirror. What doesn't help this is the comments from the FIA president Ben Salem, saying it's none of their business when talking about off-track moments for the drivers, and also saying let them go and concentrate on what they do best, which is race. Which is what Sainz and Lewis was doing before they got shafted because they didn't bring out a VSE or safety car. And this is also what happens when you sack your race director who's been pretty solid all season, and you replace him with someone who's not only had to do F1 but F2 duties as well. Failure in action again, and will forever be in denial. I mean, they could be called worse.